Computer languages. Introduction. A language is a medium to communicate and express our feelings and emotions to another person so that we all can understand each other. To communicate easily, it is important that both the persons must use the same language. Similar to the humans, we use computer languages to give instruction to the computer so that computer responds as we desire and give meaningful output. A computer needs detailed instructions to perform any task. A program contains a set of instructions which can tell a computer what to do. A program is executed, run by a computer, which means the task is being performed by the computer. A person who writes a program is called a programmer. Programming refers to the process of creating a program by the programmer. Programs are written in a computer language, and the programming language will have its own rules. Some examples of computer programs are operating system, text paint, video games, web browsers, etc. Now, we will discuss the development of different types of computer languages and their features in the following sections. Machine language, first generation language. This language is the only language which is directly understood and executed by the computer. This language uses only two symbols, 0 and 1, where 0 means on state and 1 means off state. Because of the internal design of the computer, machine language is different from one computer to the other. So, a program in machine language written for one computer may not run in another computer. Features of machine-level language. Machine language is machine-dependent language. This means that each machine has its own separate language or set of instructions that can be used to run only on that system. Programs can be executed very fast because the instructions are given directly to the computer system. It is extremely difficult to remember binary codes and they look similar, and so understanding and learning machine language is tough and time-consuming process. Developing applications or programs is very difficult because the set of instructions is limited. Advantages, disadvantages. Efficient for the computer. ML is machine dependent. Programs run very fast. The binary code was difficult to learn and write. No additional efforts of translation required. Programs used to have a lot of errors. Finding errors or debugging was difficult. Because of these features, machine language is also called low-level language, LLL. Assembly language, second-generation language. Assembly language is the second-generation language that does not use binary digits 0 and 1, but instructions were given in abbreviation form called mnemonic codes and symbols like sum for finding sum, prod for finding product, etc. These abbreviations or short forms of instructions were called as mnemonics. For example, if 11110100111001 was the instruction to read a value in machine language, in assembly language, the same instruction may be given a mnemonic read. Also, this language was not directly understood by the computer as the instructions were not in zeros and ones form, so it needed a translator called assembler. The program written in assembly language is called a source, and once assembler converts it into machine language, it is called object code. Assembly language is also called low-level language. Features of assembly-level language. It was easy to write program in assembly-level language as compared to machine codes. Assembly language is machine-dependent, so each computer system has its own instruction set and mnemonics. An assembly program written for one computer may not be used for another computer. Advantages, disadvantages. Requires lesser number of instructions. Slower than machine language. Easier for the programmer. may not run on different computers, easy to find and debug errors, difficult to remember syntax, easy to modify program. High-level language, third-generation languages, 3GLs. As you have seen in the above sections, that machine and assembly languages had disadvantages and so had urged people to develop computer languages which were easy to use and which were not machine-dependent. Owing to the above fact, many languages were developed which used simple English language to write an instruction. These languages used words from English, numbers and symbols. The format of these languages was in English, like add two numbers, find the average of three numbers, and read the values, etc. Examples of 3GLs are C, C++, Java, Pascal, Basic, etc. Features of high-level languages. It uses English words as codes, symbols and mathematical operators. The codes are machine-independent. This language is very easy as compared to the assembly and machine languages. Easy language and programming have invited more and more people to develop software using these languages. Complex problems and software can be developed. Advantages, disadvantages. Easier to understand and debug. Needs more powerful computers to run. Machine independent. Prone to large amount of errors. Needs additional translation time. More productivity. Slower than low-level languages. These programs, like assembly language programs, were not directly understood by the computer, and they also required translator programs. There are two types of translator programs as given below. Interpreter. The interpreter executes the program by converting one instruction at a time to machine code. If an error occurs during the execution, the interpretation task stops and the program needs to be corrected and executed again from the first instruction. That is the reason why interpreters are slow in execution. Some programming languages that use interpreters are Basic, Pascal, COBOL, etc. Compiler. Unlike an interpreter, a compiler will convert the whole program into machine codes called object code in one go. It will list all possible errors also in one go. That is the reason why compilers are fast in execution. Some programming languages that use compilers are C, C++, Java, etc. Fourth generation languages. Fourth generation languages, 4GLs, are more closer to human language than other high-level languages. These languages use icons, graphical interfaces, and symbolic representations to give instructions. They allow multiple common operations to be performed with a single programmer-entered command. They are intended to be programmer-friendly as they use graphical interfaces, drag-drop, touchscreen support, and icons. In these languages, the user just tells the system what needs to be done. The instructions required for the system to follow the instructions is part of the software itself. 4GLs have become very popular because the user does not have to write each instruction for the computer to execute as in 3GLs. 4GLs are designed to reduce the overall time, effort, and cost of software development. 4GLs contain the ability to add 3GL codes into its language and develop it further for business purposes. These kinds of languages are mainly used for working with databases and other data processes. The most popular example of 4GL is Prolog, an artificial intelligence language. Some other examples of 4GLs are SQL, Wave, Metafont, etc. Features of fourth generation language. Highly user-friendly and can run on all operating systems. Very high speed of execution. Programming efforts, cost and time of software development reduced drastically. Only required output has to be specified by the user, and the computer determines the required set of instructions that will accomplish the output. Advantages. Disadvantages. Programmer friendly. Needs more space to be stored. Faster development. Executed at slower speed by CPU. Contains features of 3GL. Easy to maintain. Complex language. Suitable only for business-oriented programs.